Hello there, welcome to Find Your Voice. My name is Joe Crammond and I'm the host of today's show. Today we have a very special guest, Bethany Inez. She is the founder of a company called Splendor. Bethany, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. Thank you, Joe. How are you?
I'm perfect, thank you. So whereabouts are you in the world?
I am in Byron Bay in New South Wales, which is just quietly the most beautiful place to live, I think I found, but in Australia. Yes,
Oh, wonderful. That's great. I imagine the weather is far better than it is in the UK at the moment.
probably. Probably.
Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to introduce you to our audience. We're going to go through some quick fire questions, get to learn more about your business background and who you serve, and maybe any challenges you may have faced and things like that. And it's just to sort of find out a bit about you, really. So when you're ready, we will get started.
Yeah, absolutely. Which question we're going with first?
Okay, so the first question, if you had a business card, what would it say?
Okay, so intuitive coach and a healthy living expert. So I find my coaching style is very energetic led and just through a whole range of discovery of my own health journey. That's something that I really focus on bringing through with people so they can come into alignment with themselves.
Excellent. So what's the process with that? Because I understand is it the keto diet you sort of promote?
Yeah, so that's under one of my programs. So I actually started my journey with Inez. It's like a play on words between keto and pioneers, and it's a 3-month program where we support people to release weight using the keto diet. But the biggest part of it is the mindset behind what's going on. So we're actually working them through what are the reasons and sabotage that actually put on the weight in the first place. So I have an experience in keto myself. I had a lot of success in keto, but my biggest background is doing the mindset work and actually supporting people to clean themselves out so they can be in that full alignment with who they authentically are.
Oh, perfect. It's like a detoxing sort of process, I'm guessing. Is that
Yeah.
detoxing of the mind and the body at the same sort of time?
Oh, absolutely. So for example, we refer to it as releasing weight, not losing weight, because you lose something, you want to find it again for starters. But the other part of it is that it's when you release your emotions that have been holding you back, that then shows up in the physical body. So it's understanding that the manifestation of excess weight is actually just the emotions that need to be moved through your body, as well as like that actually then without that mindset being shifted, you're actually creating sabotage, which is also then obviously working towards creating the weight in the physical body.
That's really interesting. Yeah, so that's an interesting perspective on it. So, with your business background, then, so how did you get started?
I like to say that I've been coaching my whole life. I was a hairdresser for 20 years and had like just my favorite thing was the conversations with people. And so I really got to study humanity through all of those conversations of thousands and thousands of people. And I just found that was my favorite part of what I did, right? Like the hair was fun, but this was actually the heart of what I was doing was like doing life with people. And so I knew I was always going to transition into coaching. I just thought I was going to do business coaching. And then we had I had released so much weight and had come into such a like a good health that I had people coming to me going, how do I do it? And so the Kidneys program just kind of developed through that. And then through Kidneys being so successful, and then I was like just seeing the other needs in people, and all these other programs started to come through. So I've just merged from having just the Kidneys program to having a brand new brand called Splendor, and then it has 5 different programs behind that that are they're all things that have been lessons in my life, all things that I've learned and shaped through, and know that through conquering it myself I can show other people how to do the same.
That's really interesting. I come from a sort of fitness background myself. I used to do bodybuilding shows years ago, and it's definitely, I agree, the mindset is the most important factor, and it's creating that structure around what you do as well. So it's really, really interesting. And yeah, the fact that you worked in the hairdressing industry and picked up on those conversations, learn, I'm guessing, how to sort of find people's challenges and weaknesses in their own lives so that you can then adapt and build experience on to create like a program for them, in the future. It's
Yeah,
yeah, really,
yeah.
really interesting stuff. So when it
Mm.
comes to advice, then obviously besides that, or in general, what do people sort of seek you out for?
Oh, great question. I'm very strong in my intuition. I'm someone who's really learnt to live through that spiritual side of myself. So I guess the biggest thing, and it runs across all of our programs, is that I'm teaching people the difference between their ego and their authentic self, their true self, and how to know the difference between how each one sounds, how each one feels in your body, and then that, it's a long path to walking and trusting your intuition and trusting that quieter voice than the egoic voice, and building that relationship with it so it becomes the majority of you, right? Like, I don't think we actually fully get rid of the ego, unfortunately, but to really be able to tame it and to know which one is in control at each point is a journey that I take people through behind all the programs. That's what I'm taking them through.
That's interesting. Would you say an ego is kind of like a bit of a facade for a lot of people? So there's always insecurities behind the ego, would you say?
Yeah, it's interesting that when we use the word ego, people think it's like that boastful kind of, out there, look at me thing. But ego can also be that disowned part of us. Like, ego is anything that is fear based and anything that is seeing separation in the world. And so if anyone is coming from an insecurity, it's coming from fear, and that's fully in the egoic energy rather than being within the alignment of their true self.
That's very well put. That's really good stuff. So your target audience then, who would you say be the main people you would look to serve?
Look, we've gravitated towards women, but not intentionally. I think we look after anyone who's really ready to get control over their life, right? And to really, I call it that you are the creator of your life. And so to step into that is to step into a high level of self-responsibility. And so it's anyone who's at that point where they're like, I'm done with how life is. I know there's something more for me, and I'm ready to step into whatever that is.
That's okay. That's cool. So when was the last time you left something behind, and what was it and why?
To leave something behind, like an item, like a
Just anything really. I mean, it could have been it could have been a relationship, a person, or a job or something like that. It's kind of
yeah. Look, I've left an entire state behind, to be honest. I moved to Byron Bay 9 months ago, and it was full just an intuition. I just kept hearing the name Byron, and I fully manifested the house that I'm in. And I left my family, I left all my friends. I completely just came here knowing no one, and first of all, was in a beautiful cocoon. I wrote a book, and I planned some new programs, and lots of things. Like, a lot of splendor was born in that first couple of months when I was here. But yeah, it just turned into this beautiful experience of knowing, like, I absolutely needed to be here. But yeah, I left everything of my life. Everything that I knew is still back in Queensland, and I created completely afresh from here.
That's interesting. So when was the last time you did something that scared you? Would that have been that point,
Mm.
or would you say there was another time?
Gee, that's a hard one, because I'm like, I mean, there's I work in the energetics of going, okay, there's fear, that's my ego, and I need to get out of it quickly. So it happens, but I don't stay there often, right? So
Hmm.
even, launching Splendor, there was fear, absolutely. Like, to go, I've sort of had this cocooned program that was all through word of mouth, and now I'm doing something that's quite large scale. And so even just to go through that fear of, I'm going to be seen. Am I ready? Is this the right move? Have I thought of everything? So yeah, there was definitely a journey through that. I just know to do it quickly, I suppose.
No, that's fair enough. So what would you say keeps your audience up at night then? So what's their biggest challenge and the things that holding them back?
It's like that soul level of knowing that there's something more for them. Like
Hmm.
that part of you that's like, in the relationship, but know that there's something not fulfilling about it. Doesn't mean it's the wrong relationship, but maybe the way it's being managed is wrong, and that's, they don't know how to deal with it, or feeling disconnected from themselves, like from how they actually feel and love themselves, and just feeling lost on how to do something about that.
Hmm.
So yeah, that knowing that something more is available, just not knowing how to get there.
That's interesting. So would you say like social media at the moment is causing a bit of a toxic environment for people's self-image?
Oh, it's such a good question. So because I work in vibration and energy, I know, like, where social media sits is very low, and it's not a great um it's not a great space for people to be in, absolutely. But like anything, it's how you use it, right?
Hmm.
So, for example, like, having a glass of wine with a nice dinner isn't a bad thing, but having 10 glasses because you're wanting to escape your life is a bad thing. So it's not the item that's wrong, it's not the wine that's wrong, it's how you're using it. And so you can use social media in a way that is a blessing to you, something that's uplifting to you, or you can use it in a way that's quite destructive. So yeah, I personally don't spend a lot of time on social media. I have an incredible marketing lady who looks after a lot of my stuff, and I just do lots of recordings and obviously jump on the story. But yeah, I tend to think I just want to be in my bubble. I want to be in my zone and connect with people that I've been mindful of building connections with.
Is that part of what you are sort of teaching your program, is to watch the screen time? Because I think for a majority of people, it's something that takes them away from being proactive in a lot of things in life, isn't it? It's just that constant scrolling and things like that.
Yeah, well, I definitely recommend limiting it. And, in our in a lot of our habit programs and stuff, we talk about getting to bed on time is a really important thing. Getting your sleep is really important. That's the time when people generally jump on social media and scroll, and then they've spent hours and they've, stayed awake longer than they were supposed to. So that's one that comes up a lot with that last hour before you go to sleep. Don't actually go on social media then. But the bigger than that, it's like anything that upsets you in life, right? Like, so if you got off social media and you're not feeling great, the point is to use that and go, okay, well, what in me is stirring right now? And so I would use it from that angle of like, okay, if you're going on social media, how are you perceiving other people, and what can we learn from that about what's happening within you, so that you can change that so it can be a positive in your life again.
No, it's great advice. I mean, I think the problem with social media as well is the echo chambers. It's like you can be looking at one thing and then you spend just that few seconds longer reading, and it sends then more into your feed, and it feeds into that whole echo chamber of, potential negative news, or, sort of self-image destructive sort of information that you're looking at, and it's just getting away from that, really, isn't it? It's making sure people are, staying positive and not using it for that sort of reason. So give us a success story. What would you say is your main success story with one of your clients?
Story. Oh. For one of my clients, is that what you said? Because
For a client potentially, or would you say even in general?
I'll share a client one because I'm quite excited about this lady. She did a year of coaching with me, and at the beginning of the year, I don't know what her income was in the beginning, but I know for the business it was quite small. And she said, my goal is to get to $50,000 months by the end of the year. And I was like, yeah, okay, we'll get to 50, and then we'll go to 100. Like, just that this is where we're going. And the month that she finished with me was a $50,000 month. The next month was 100,000, and the one after that was 113. And
Wow.
all of that is the skills that I teach in the manifestation program, in our Ignite Your Dreams program. And just, it takes time. Like that was a huge result to get, but it takes time to do the clean out enough so that you can energetically bring something through like that. But it's just been so beautiful to be part of her journey and watch her not only conquer that, but then inspire all of her team and people who are now on board, like with, okay, now I have that possibility too. I can have that abundance too. So
That's an
yeah.
amazing time frame to sort of scale and double the income like that. That's that's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. Very proud of
Really.
her. So yeah, I've been celebrating her a lot lately. So I thought that's probably the best story I have to
No,
share.
I can imagine. I think she's probably celebrating you more than anything else, achieving that sort of extra wealth.
It wasn't even just the money. Like, one of the things we
Mm.
worked on was a partner, and by the end of the time, she's already living with the man that I'm sure she'll be marrying very shortly soon. And yeah, there was just like her health came on board. There was a whole bunch of things, and so that's a lot to do intense work like that. I don't do a lot that are one-on-ones like that. I prefer to do group programs so that I can connect with more people. But absolutely, all the stuff that I was teaching her is within all of the programs that we do.
Fair enough. Well, so final question. So if you're writing a script about a movie of your life, describe this sort of opening scene, what would you say?
Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so stumped right now. It would have to be something about the minute I moved to Byron. That's probably like the most exciting chapter of my life. So something about me rocking up to my house would be the incredible first scene. I had no idea where I was living. I had manifested this place. I knew it was the house I was supposed to be in. So I literally put the address into the maps and just drove here. And as I'm driving up, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is where I live. This is incredible. And I didn't know if there was going to be people or shops around or anything. And so just that discovery moment, I think is such a beautiful intro for how I live life. And
Mm.
yeah, that's my opening thing.
No, that's great. You talk a lot about manifestation and the law of attraction. I'm guessing you've read The Secret. Is that one of your go-tos?
It is. It's not how I learned it, but I have listened to that one before and loved it. Yeah.
Mm. No, that's great. Well, it's been wonderful, Bethany, and I appreciate your time with us. And where do we find more about you and your business?
Great question. So we're in the middle of a 10-day launch at the moment. And so our full website goes live on the 5th. So it is revealyoursplendor.com is our website domain. And at the moment, you can find us on Instagram at Reveal Your Splendor. And we are doing a daily special of all of our programs. And so it's a great time to jump on board. You can only find the codes for the specials in the stories at the moment. So I would definitely meet us there.
Check those stories out. Great. Bethany, it's been an absolute pleasure. And I really appreciate your time today. And just for our audience, if you do want to build out on a thought leadership profile and get yourself out on podcasts, visit us at podcastguesting.pro. And Bethany, it's been absolutely wonderful. And I appreciate your time. And we'll look forward to hearing more of you on podcasts and following
Thank
your
you.
journey. So,
Thank you. Thanks for having me on here, Joe. Thanks.
no worries. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.